Hello guys, today I'm going to discuss about Final Fantasy XVI after finishing this game on PC. When it first released on PS5 and I played the demo version, I decided to wait for the PC release for smooth 60 FPS experience, and during my waiting time I decided to stay away from spoilers and at the same time keep my expectations at the bay after a disastrous release of Final Fantasy XV, which was, to be honest, for me it was a big disappointment. So was it good enough? Did I like this game? What is good and what is bad? This is really a difficult question to answer, because in the case of this game, if you start to take each element separately and try to do a traditional review, like discussing about graphics, discussing about story and other elements of the game, everything starts to fall apart. But while you put everything together, everything magically starts to work, and you get the magic of the Final Fantasy in this case as well. So, but I still have to talk about those elements that might help some of you, but I really and honestly recommend you still giving a chance to this game. So let's start with the story. A lot of people compare it to the Game of Thrones series, and actually in the beginning it really gives this impression, but to my honest opinion the story is a bit naive sometimes and it stays more like a video gamey, I can say. And also because many main characters, they're not so developed, they don't get enough screen time, you don't get too much attachment to those characters, especially to the Clive's love interest. But without doing too much spoilers, I can say that at the same time it's a bit not fair to complain about this and request love story like in other Final Fantasy games, because that is not the main focus of the game. So it's just a matter of taste. It is more a world-oriented story, and the main topic of this game, I can say, is the battle of humanity, and also the central topic is also brotherhood questions, the support of family, of brothers, the love between family members, that is more central than, like, let's say, romantic story. So that's why in this case I can say that something like this was lacking for some of the characters, but altogether the story is not bad, but it's not exceptionally super good or anything. It's just here there is some element in the story which would later influence gameplay as well. That was a bit pissing me off. I will tell about this in a later part of the video. So let's move on from the story before I make any more spoilers. So coming to the gameplay itself is not that bad. Also, like, if you don't compare it to other games like action-oriented games like Devil May Cry, any hack and slash games, in itself it's a good gameplay. It's a solid experience. As a traditional Final Fantasy player, I felt the lack of the option to have a control over your party members. But this again, it's just a personal preference, and at the same time one main character battle system has been made thoroughly and quite deep. So that's why if you are not that spoiled by these gacha games where you can have control over like dozens of characters in your team and choose them like chocolates from candy box, you might probably enjoy one character battle system from Final Fantasy 16. And what is even cool, I rarely try to take some challenges in games for trophies and anything, but in this case the more you learn the battle system, the more you want to test your abilities and challenge more stronger enemies. That's why I can say that the battle system is more on the positive side, despite the lack of option to play with other team members or characters. So coming to the music, I can say, is not bad. It's really epic, really convenient, and corresponding to the story, to the characters and the background. It's not that as memorable like in Final Fantasy 8 or 9 or 7th part, but it's still really good. You really enjoy the music. In some scenes the battle themes are really good. Graphics are not that bad at all. It's hard to discuss the graphics itself, but it's good to mention that the game design itself is marvelous. I can tell you visually it's one of the best looking games in last I can say last 5 years I've played. The best looking in terms of Final Fantasy as well. You have these beautiful places to see in the game and they're so impressive. You just want to stand and look around and just enjoy the sight, the view. Sometimes it gives an impression you're looking at an artwork, and the artist who made all this in 3D has done a marvelous job, because on every angle, from every level you go, there's a moment you want to stop and take screenshots or just to enjoy the sight. Even on darkest scenes or underground like dungeons you go, it's still really impressive. I mean, it's not traditional dungeons but more like ruins, ancient ruins. That's why you didn't have this uncomfortable feeling that you're in dungeons, because those ruins, they look really also like fantastic, and you don't want to hurry up and leave them as soon as possible, because the deeper or higher you go, the more interesting and cool they look. And I can say that what they have nailed really well is a storytelling through the world itself, through the decorations. It means wherever you go, you see what is happening, how people live. You see this lot of handmade elements all around you and hand design, and I really appreciated that. Even when I was taking these secondary quests, I felt also like the world development was taking place. And here I reached to the moment where I wanted to complain also about one thing in storytelling which influenced the world itself. There is a moment in maybe almost at the second half or of the story where the world gets really dark. Biggest part of side quest you have to take, you will have to take them when the world has this saturated purple color or all over the world, and wherever you go you have this eye-fatiguing environment, and all these beautiful places you knew they look dark. I know it serves really well for storytelling purposes, to show that the world is falling apart and is on the brink of the destruction, but at the same time, as it's a game where you want to play to enjoy, it is really eye-tiring to see this filter, because it also mostly looks like a filter. You don't get too much difference in terms of buildings and everything around you. You just have a feeling that they put this filter which is eye-tiring. Ironically, they make this joke even on the beginning of their DLC, when you reach a new location which looks quite beautiful, and luckily they didn't use this filter at this new location, and even characters speak about this tiring, boring look of the sky in the main game. So this part is one of the most tiring moments of the game, and there is no way that you can take secondary quests after beating the game without this filter. So this was the part that was already pushing me at the end of the game to finish the game as soon as possible, and luckily the DLC was like really good. And speaking of DLCs, I can tell that all of those DLCs were really good. I didn't regret buying any of them, and in terms of visuals they're really good, and in terms of battle they also take it everything on the new level. The second DLC, where you need to, I won't spoil too much, you need to climb the tower, is also really impressive. You get like more elements about this ancient civilization, but I will not tell much about this. So generally speaking, the DLCs are good. If you buy the game and it's on the sale, just get with the DLCs as well. You won't regret it, and especially if you like battle challenges as well, and visually they're also really cool. So to sum up, what do I think about Final Fantasy XVI in general? I think it's a solid 8 out of 10 game, and if not that filter in the game, I would definitely give it 9.5 out of 10, and just another 1 point if there was a possibility to play with other characters. But hey, if you don't need those characters, or you can easily give this game 9 or 10 out of 10. So basically, after a big failure in terms of storytelling and in terms of I can say even gameplay, Final Fantasy XV, this one feels like a solid product, solid work, and real eye candy, despite some graphical weaknesses, they managed to make this game look so beautiful that you want to move forward, you want to know the world, you want to know the characters. You don't get really pissed off and tired by secondary quests, because sometimes, even though they seem a bit weird or strange or childish, they're much better than the side quests in Final Fantasy XV. So I would definitely recommend playing this game, even if you have never played any other Final Fantasy games. But as a Final Fantasy fan myself, who started to play these games since 2001, I definitely think it's one of the best parts. So hope this review will help you to make your choice if you haven't played it yet. Thank you very much, thanks for watching, and have a nice day.